Hello everyone, in this video we will draw and label the scheme of the endometrium, and we describe the changes during the menstruation uh, in the endometrium. During the menstrual cycle, the endometrium exhibits morphological changes that are correlated with ovarian functions. The cyclic changes in a non-pregnant uterus are divided into proliferative phase, secretory phase, and the menstrual phase. In the previous video, we will describe the individual layers of uterus. The middle layer of uterus called myometrium is composed of smooth muscle bundles. I will draw only the upper layer of myometrium in all phases. The myometrium with smooth muscle bundles. And endometrium is subdivided into two layers, stratum basale and stratum functionale. The basal layer is similar in the all phases of menstrual cycle. There are endometrial gland. This cross section through the endometrial gland. And highly cellular stroma. And with straight branches of blood vessels. So here is straight branches of blood vessels. Straight. So in the proliferative phase, under the influence of increased levels of ovarian estrogen, the stratum functionalis increased in thickness, and the uterine glands elongate and follow a straight course to the surface. So the uterine glands are narrow, straight. The epithelium with columnar cells and basal located nucleus, and the coiled spiral arteries are primarily seen in the deeper regions of the endometrium of the functional layer. So, and the stromal cells are small, and very often you can see mitotic figures in the epithelium and in the stromal cells. So this is the proliferative phase. Another phase, early secretory phase, approximately in the 16th day of a menstrual cycle. the uterine glands are still straight, but some lining columnar cells start to accumulate glycogen in the basal part of these cells. The glycogen is basally located and displacing the nucleus towards the center of these cells. And also stroma is undergoing a decidual reaction in that some of connective tissue cell enlarge as they got lipid drops and glycogen. So the endometrial glands starts to coil. Some glands are still straight. But the epithelium cells, which lines contact with the basement membrane, start to accumulate glycogen. But in the basal compartment of these cells, so, and their nuclei move into the center of these cells, sometimes still in the basal compartment, and release some product into the lumen of the endometrial gland. And the stromal cells are bigger, and the coiled arteries growth. And you can see in the upper layer, in the upper layer of the functional layer. In the late secretory phase, the endometrial glands are coiled, dilated, full of the product. The stromal cells are large and also contains droplets of glycogen and lipids. These stromal cells are called predecidual cells. Predecidual cells because in the pregnant endometrial wall you can call the decidual cells. And the coiled or spiral arteries in the functional layer, and in the upper layer you can find lacunes, anastomosing lacunes filled by blood. So the endometrium is prepared to the taking embryo, and it's full of nutrition for the developing embryo. As the appearance of endometrium in late secretory phase is similar than early pregnancy endometrium. Pregnancy endometrium. So in the menstrual phase, The basal layer of endometrium is still present, but the functional layer is shed with menstrual blood, and the cycle continues, and now we start the proliferative phase, newly formed functional layer of endometrium, and now again accumulation of glycogen and another menstrual phase. So this epithelium is also needs to formed. So we described the schemes. Uh, Here it's a myometrium, myometrium, and basal layer of endometrium. Is the same for all phases. And here is a functional layer of endometrium. In the proliferative phase, the endometrial glands are narrow and straight. Mm, uh, and highly cellular stroma, and you can see mitotic figures in the epithelium and in the stromal cells. Early secretory phase, the um, coiled and narrow uterine gland or endometrial uterine glands start accumulation of glycogen in the basal compartment of the columnar cells. Columnar cells. Um, this is the spiral artery. Artery. In the light secretory phase, the coiled and dilated glands. Glycogen is also in the lumen of these glands, and the epithelium is low columnar or cuboidal because the glycogen is released from these cells into the lumen. So this is glycogen. This is the lacune and filled by blood and spiral artery. And these cells called pre-decidual cells. Pre-decidual cells. This is the changed stromal cells, large and contains the droplets of lipids and glycogen in their cytoplasm, and the menstrual phase without a functional layer of endometrium. So thank you very much for your attention.